So my next speaker is the beautiful Dianne Callahan, and she is a radio host, a speaker. She's a multi-book author. Everyone's a best-selling author. So welcome, Dianne.
It's a little bit funny. This week.
Fat cow. I'm embarrassed to be seen with you. Oh, don't worry about that job interview. They don't hire fat people like you for a job like that. If you leave me, you'll end up with some big guy who beats you, because that's the only kind of man who'd want to be seen with someone who looks like you. Those were the words, my first husband's words, that were going through my head on that Sunday afternoon when I locked myself in the bathroom and held a gun to my head. And I looked in the mirror and I said, he's right. I might as well not even be here. And that little voice in my head said, do it. Pull the trigger. That's what he deserves. And I was so close. I was so close. And then the shaky, scared little voice said, but what about your parents? What about your family, your friends? And I realized that I couldn't do it. So I put the gun down. And I would like to tell you that I walked out of the bathroom and packed my stuff and walked out on that marriage. I would like to tell you that, but it would be a lie. But what I did do is I started figuring out how to get my happiness back, how to get my confidence back, how to reclaim my self-worth and my value after hearing things like that for 17 years. So it's interesting when you start to do development and growth and things like that. There's not often an evening like this where you walk on a stage, you don't go to a graduation, you don't get a diploma, you don't get a bouquet of flowers, right? All you get, but the best things, you get the best things. You get milestones, you get signposts along the way. So this day was 25 years ago. And so the work began. And it took a few years for me to actually end that marriage, because that's how it works, right? I mean, we're not living in a Hallmark movie, are we? I mean, I wasn't. I'm just going to tell you that. And so, but I finally did. And so all this work, and I'm going to tell you how I did it, but I want to tell you the signpost that I got. So I am a 4-time cancer survivor. I went through 3 fights with aggressive stage 4 blood cancer. And then 2 years ago, I got breast cancer. And so we're sitting in okay, let me just say this. That's my real husband right there. And he's my real husband, not my second husband, whatever, real husband, right? Yeah. So we're sitting in the surgeon's office. So I had beautiful double D, beautiful breasts, right? I mean, they were like, I mean, imagine, right? They were the calling card of my adult life. And so I was 2 years away from turning 60, and I thought, okay, all right, I'm gonna get 2 30-year-old perky boobies. I'm down, I'm ready, we're doing it, it's great. And so we sat there in the surgeon's office, and I said, okay, so tell me, let's talk about the perky boobies, like what goes on with that? And she goes, oh, no. And I'm like, what? No. She said, you're not, oh my God, I'm so sorry, but you're not a candidate for reconstruction. All that other cancer and my compromised immune system and my damaged lungs from all the parting gifts from all the stem cell transplants, she's like, literally, I don't know one plastic surgeon who would touch you with a 10-foot pole. Putting you on the table for that many hours, and it's usually multiple surgeries. She's like, and then you have something foreign in your body and you're immune compromised. It's like, it's just not, it's not in the cards for you. And so I will say, I had one tear just make its way down my cheek. And I was thinking to myself, no perky boobies? And then she jumped right in, and she said, okay, well, we have a lot of support groups because, women go through this and they lose their confidence and they don't feel like they're feminine anymore. And so we have support groups that can help you with that. And it's clear as day. I sat there and I said, oh, I'm so glad that you have those, but I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be great. I don't need boobies. I'm going to be great. And that, my friends, was that signpost, that 23 years at that point, years of work and growth and pouring into myself had worked. I mean, it had changed me. It had become who I was, right? So I want to tell you how I did it. I had to tell you that story so you could see from this to this, right? So all I know is if I can do it, you can too. So when I say, if I can do it, I want you to come back at me right now and say, I can too. If I can do it, I can too. Love it. Okay, so what did I do? Okay, when I look back, I see that it was a series of 3 things, and they kind of overlapped. But basically what I started to do was choose to be happy, to reclaim it. I was born, we're all born, we're created to be joyful, confident, happy, loving people. And I had to reclaim that. I had to rebuild that. I had to deprogram that, right? So I had to start choosing it. And what I mean by that is I had to believe that happiness was possible for me. Not just for people on social media who, have everything, right? They don't have everything, but we think they do. But for me, damaged, broken, messed up me, it was possible. So I had to choose it. I had to choose my soul nutrition, what I put into my body, heart, brain. I had to change the things I read, the movies I watched, the people I interacted with. That's how you choose this happiness. So if I could do that, okay, very good. Let's try it again. If I could do it, thank you. So choose. You have to choose and believe in it. Now, the next thing is what the title of my chapter is, which is you have to practice it. Anybody in this room who is good at something, anything, you didn't get there the first time you did it. It's because you do it over and over. You practice it. Happiness is a practice. It's what you think and do every single day, right? So one of the things that you have to do in practicing happiness is you have to get control of the words in your head, your self-talk. The beautiful part is you have all the power. I had all the power. I wish I had red shoes, right? Click, click. I wish I could use it. I knew how to use it at the time. So you have all the power. You have the volume button. You can turn down the bad stuff. You can turn up the volume on the good stuff. You can delete all the ugly stuff. That's on you, what you let stay in your brain. And the worst part is when you start hearing it in your own voice, telling yourself the things that I just said my first husband would say to me. So what I learned is I call it CPR for your thoughts, right? This is one to write down if you want to. CPR for your thoughts. First, you have to catch it. You have to be paying attention to what you're thinking and what you're saying to yourself. You catch it, then you have to push it away. You have to say, I'm not available for that kind of thinking right now. I'm not here for that. And then the R is you have to rephrase it, reclaim it, rewrite it, whatever you have to redo to fix that negative thought in your brain. And you have to do it every time these come up because they're on repeat, right? I mean, it's not just me, is it? No? Okay, thank you. So CPR for your thoughts. That's a huge part of practicing it every single day. The last thing you have to do is share it. Or you don't have to do it, but what I did, what I learned, is that there was so much power in sharing my happiness, in sharing a smile. So here's the funny thing. Your brain is so smart. Like if everybody smile at me. Give me a smile, right? When you do that, your brain reads where all your muscles are in your face, and it says, we're smiling. Oh, we're happy, right? That's what it does. And if you stand up and you put your shoulders back and you take that deep breath, your brain reads all of that, and it says, oh, we're confident. We're good. We're doing good here. So you share those smiles because you're going to give a little bit of that happiness to someone else. My favorite way of sharing happiness is to give compliments. to people I know, people I've just met, people I didn't know, because let them know that they're special, they're beautiful, they look awesome, that color's great on them, what they just said really resonated with you. Anything like that, share that. And what you do when you do that is you affirm for yourself that happiness is available and that you are part of a happy world. So I want to leave you with this. I encourage you to choose, practice, and share, right? But I encourage you to choose to share some little piece of happiness with some person every day of your life, and it will change everything for you. Thank you.